Hi, ASL Services is sharing with you our 2020 Hurricane Preparedness Guide, which is rather extensive, and it includes a section all done in American Sign Language, as well as another section dealing with COVID-19, specifically dealing with the pandemic during hurricane season. This is done as part of our dedication to the community. Please feel free to share it. Make sure you review it. It is for you, for your family, your loved ones, your neighbors, your community. And above all, please make sure stay safe.
ASL Services presents the 2020 Hurricane Preparedness Guide with special alerts and information that pertain to our current situation in the middle of the COVID-19 era. Let's get started. It is predicted that we will experience an above average Atlantic hurricane season. In the middle of these COVID-19 times, it will be especially important to make sure that every one of us is prepared, that we have enough supplies, and it's important to make a family emergency plan. Get your house prepared and make sure that you have all of the information you need for performing an evacuation or what is needed to shelter in place or go to a shelter near you. Due to COVID-19, there are additional shelters that will be opening up in your region. The American Red Cross has a shelter finder program. The link is provided right here on this slide and is also available in the complete ASL Services Preparedness Guide packet. At that link, you can put in your local information and find the additional shelters that will be opened up this year in your area. While you are at the shelter, it is important that you take precautions and we continue to take these extra steps to keep ourselves and our family safe during this COVID pandemic. Of course, just like any other hurricane season, it is possible that things may get to a point where you would need to go to a shelter. If that comes up during this time of COVID-19, it is important that you are prepared and you bring some additional equipment with you to keep yourself and your family safe. It would be good to bring soap, hand sanitizer, disinfecting wipes, general household cleaning supplies, and this will allow you to disinfect any surfaces that you may have to touch on a regular basis while you're in the shelter. Continue to follow current social distancing standards. Keep 6 feet apart and avoid crowds when possible. Anyone over the age of 2 should use a cloth face covering. And there is a link below from the CDC, the Center for Disease Control. This link will give you additional preparation information, and even more so, there is a additional guide available created by FEMA on the COVID-19 pandemic operational guide for this hurricane season. That link is in the ASL Services packet. So if you download the full 14-page packet, then on the third page, the bottom of the page, there's a link on FEMA's website. Or you can just go to fema.gov preparedness.gov and search COVID-19 guide, and you will be able to download that guide there. This is the first in a series of training videos for the 2020 hurricane season. I hope you'll go ahead and join us and watch each of the videos, as they all have some different information to help make sure that you are prepared. Welcome back. This is part 2 of 5 of the ASL Services 2020 Hurricane Preparedness Guide. Let's take a moment to talk about some important information. The different warnings that are used for wind speeds, or the different advisories that can be released. The first level would be a tropical storm advisory or a hurricane advisory. This is used when there are expected conditions that will cause a significant inconvenience, and there may be some situations that can be hazardous. Basically, this advisory is letting everyone know that some caution should be taken, and to some extent, some initial preparations. This will let us know to start getting ready and just make sure that we're paying attention to announcements that may be coming out in the next couple of days. A second level would be a tropical storm watch or hurricane watch. So this is more serious, and in this case, we're put on this notification that we're watching for the tropical storm or the hurricane, because it's possible that within the next 48 hours, the tropical storm or hurricane will affect our area. It's important that we stay connected to the news sources and whatever outlets with the city or our county governments in our regions, just to see what announcements are being made and what updates come with, because weather is always changing, and so just stay connected and look for more information. A third level is a tropical storm warning or hurricane warning. When the warning is placed, that is because we're expecting that the tropical storm or the hurricane is going to hit within 36 hours. So, different from our second level of like a hurricane watch, the warning isn't that it's possible. We're actually expecting that it's going to make landfall. It is going to hit our area, as much as we can tell, within 36 hours. So on the second level, the first and second level, we were starting to get ready. At the third level, we're expecting it. Now, this is the time you have to make sure you get everything set up and that you really are going to be prepared. So go ahead and finish up all of your preparations for the storm. And if you are going to leave the threatened area, and if that's what the direction is because of the level of the hurricane that they're expecting, then this is the time to do that. You don't need to wait until last minute. Start making your preparations and put your action plan in effect. So, tropical storms and hurricane advisories end up discussing the path of the storm, the strength of the storm, and since the path and the strength are continually changing, it's important to stay connected to your local news sources to look for current weather information. So the initial warnings start for tropical storms, and that has winds of 39 to 79 miles per hour. With these winds, there will be expected some power outages scattered throughout our region, some downed trees, and those downed trees can actually cause some road blockage. So, some power outages and hazards from trees and fallen debris. Now, stronger than a tropical storm, we would be looking at a hurricane, and hurricanes use the Saffir-Simpson scale. And on this scale, hurricanes are placed in one of 5 categories. The higher the number, the stronger the hurricane. So that would be higher winds, more damage that happens. The category 1 has winds of 74 to 95 miles an hour. With those speeds, the damage would be expected on mobile homes and frame construction homes. We would have many trees downed in the region, so a lot more pervasive, a lot more roads blocked. Some areas may actually be cut off, and you may be stuck in a region if all of the roads leading to or out of your area are blocked. The power outages would be a lot more than in a tropical storm. So we would expect entire areas to have power outage, and potentially for a couple days. With the high winds, outdoor items can become airborne and projectiles. So the wind can actually pick items up and then throw it into your house or throw it in another direction. So things may get thrown into a house, through a window, or down the street. The next level would be a Category 2. And a Category 2 hurricane has winds 96 to 110 miles per hour. With winds at that speed, we would actually be looking at severe damage to most mobile homes and frame construction homes. Well-constructed homes would have less damage, but still you would be expecting to have damage to shingles, sidings, gutters. And of course, in all of these, we would expect and be prepared for broken glass from windows and doors. At a Category 2, we would have extensive damage to power lines, and the power outages could be for several days. Airborne debris, items that are picked up and thrown with these speeds, can truly injure or even kill a person. So the debris is a very serious risk. A Category 3 has winds from 111 miles per hour up to 130 miles per hour. At this level, it would be expected that nearly all mobile homes are destroyed. Most homes are going to have severe damage, and low-rise apartments would have severe damage as well. We would have multiple structures that have partial roof or wall failures, where the wall just completely falls off of a building or is partially crumbling, or the roof got partially ripped off or is just missing. At this level, power outages and water outages can go for up to a week or more. So at this level, when we're preparing for a Category 3, it requires all of the recommendations in this packet. You would need to increase your preparedness to more than 3 days, because you will hear that we say 3 days supply or more. But if you're preparing for a Category 3 or more, of course, adjust your preparations accordingly and make sure that you are ready to make it through the entire time expected. And again, airborne debris can injure or kill a person when flung over 111 miles an hour. The next level up would be a Category 4, and a Category 4 has winds 131 miles an hour to 155 miles an hour. At this point, almost all residential structures are damaged or completely destroyed. Many areas are going to be completely uninhabitable to live in until repairs can be done, with almost all of the roads blocked or fallen apart. The debris isn't just trees, it's entire structures. So driving through is a hazard. And at this point, even industrial buildings are going to be damaged, and some of them will be destroyed as well. Power, electrical, water, and other services can actually take weeks or months to repair and truly rebuild the infrastructure. Let's take a moment to discuss what to do as the hurricane is approaching at each of the steps. So when you know that a hurricane is approaching, in the early stages, what should we do? We should prepare. That's the most important thing. So it's important to learn about your area, where you live. Find out what are the risks. Are you in an area where flash flooding can be a concern? Because if so, then it's important to pay attention to the rainfall, intensity, and amount of water that would be expected. Because, of course, the amount of water to be dropped in the regions would trigger the flash flooding. And if that's a concern in your area, you need to be prepared for that. And so that may even change or speed up plans, and what signs would trigger an evacuation may be the best call. Additionally, it's important to find out or do a full evaluation of how safe your home is. With the storm that is coming and its level, how safe is your home? Expected to be able to make it through the storm that is coming. So if you do not know, then partner with community organizations. Reach out to some of the resources that are found in the Hurricane Preparedness Guide full pamphlet from ASL Services, or several resources at the Red Cross and FEMA for structural inspections. Additionally, you can reach out to your local city or county and find out some information on alternatives. If you are unsure, it is always an option to just plan on the safe side and plan on going to a shelter or relocating with friends and family where in a different region or in a safer structure. It's important also to sign up for the community warning system. There's an emergency alert system as well that is one specifically that will provide emergency alerts, but otherwise different communities have their own. So your city or county will likely have their own warning system that you can sign up for, either an email or a text alert. Each region is different. Practice going to a safe shelter for high winds. It's important to know where your shelters are. So if things change and the storm gets stronger, or it moves and now you're directly in the path, it's good to know, if the need comes up, where you can go for safety. Regardless, make a plan for sheltering in place. Also make a plan for an evacuation. It would be good to know from your home what are the routes that are going to be best. What routes can expect to be congested. Kind of plan now in the early stages, because if things change and it becomes an emergency, you already made good decisions with enough time and thought. And if you're to shelter in place, making that plan would just make sure you are set up for success, to be okay, to make it through the storm. Regardless, you should gather supplies, at least 3 days or more of supplies for food, medicine, all supplies that your pet would need, as well as your baby, and additionally, any seniors that you may care for. It's important to protect your property, declutter your drains and your gutters. Consider hurricane shutters. If shutters are not an option for you, then there are alternative options to board up your windows and help protect that part of your property, but also protect any individuals or items inside from the wind breaking through the glass and throwing that into the house. Now, some things you should do by the 36-hour mark. So from just getting prepared any time of the year to now, we actually have an advisory. We're expecting a storm, or it's possible. The hurricane is approaching. It's important that you're connected. Stay connected on the TV or however you connect to the news so that you can get current weather information and all updates for emergency instructions. Restock your emergency preparedness kit. You should include 3 or more days' supplies for food, water, medications, flashlights, batteries, cash, and first aid supplies. Plan how you will communicate with your family members if you were to lose power. So that means plan if you're going to call, text, email, or use social media to keep communication open. Phone lines are often overloaded with calls, so during points of congestion, text messages and social media is more reliable to communicate with family. So if you have the plan early on, it's easier to execute. People know where to look. Review your evacuation zone, what your evacuation route would be, and what shelters you would go to. Keep your car in good working condition. Keep the gas tank full. Stock your vehicle with emergency supplies, and add changes of clothes into your car as well. As the storm gets closer, between 18 to 36 hours before it is to arrive, you should save the website to your local city or county website so you can easily pull it up and get current information for storm updates and emergency instructions that are specific to your area. Bring any loose or lightweight objects inside. The purpose of doing this is to avoid having any airborne projectiles outside. So if you have some lawn chairs and other equipment sitting out, the high winds can pick that up and throw it into your house, throw it into a neighbor's house, throw it down the street. So to avoid losing the items, as well as to avoid all of the damage to your property, it's best just to simply bring it inside. There are several things like propane tanks and a couple other items that would not be safe to bring inside, so just make sure that you anchor those down so that the wind does not pick them up. Any trees or bushes that are close to your structures, your house, you want to make sure to go ahead and trim them down. Any loose branches or anything that could, if it were to break, fall onto the house, cut those. It's better for you to do it first so the wind doesn't do it for you, because if the wind does it, that can cause some very serious damage to your house. Additionally, cover all of the windows in your home. Storm shutters are the best option, but a second option would be to use 5/8 inch exterior grade or marine grade plywood. At this point, you don't need to put it up, but you can go ahead and put up the base frame and cut the wood to the right size. So if it's needed, you can very quickly and easily just put them in place. When the hurricane is, if it's still approaching and you're in the 6 to 18 hours, again, continue to stay connected to the TV or radio, however you can get current updated weather, and check the city and county website. At this point, it's recommended about every 30 minutes to just look for updates. It's going to be weather updates, but also emergency instructions. At each of these steps, it's possible an evacuation order would go out, and it's important that when that information is made available or those orders are put in effect, to follow those orders without delay. So preparation early on makes for a very smooth and safe transition if that comes up. At this point, make sure that you charge your cell phone and try to keep the battery full, because a full battery would be great. If you were to lose power, then you have a full charge. As the storm approaches, the things to do in the last 6 hours is, if evacuation was not ordered and you plan on staying where you're at, then at this point, you've made the decision to shelter in place. Even if you're not home, at this point, you should stay where you're at. So you don't want to get on the road driving. Things will be congested. Some things may be blocked, because even before it makes initial landfall, we have rain and water that's been building up. So you don't want to be getting on the road. But tell your friends and family where you are. At the place that you're at, go and close your storm shutters. Stay away from windows, because the flying glass from the broken windows can cause injury. Turn your refrigerator or freezer to the coldest setting. Doing this will help. If you were to lose power, it'll help keep the food colder longer. Only open the refrigerator when it's absolutely necessary, and it is a good idea to keep a thermometer in the fridge and the freezer to check the temperature of the food. Again, if the power goes out, so you can just make sure that the food continues to be safe for you to eat. As always, stay connected, turn on the TV or radio, check the city and county websites every half hour for the latest weather updates and emergency instructions. So it's important to stay connected through these steps and just make sure you're getting current information. During a hurricane, so it's overhead, it is happening right now. Follow the instructions. If the structure changes, this is the only time you would have a movement, is if there was evacuation instruction. Emergency personnel come to the house and they are evacuating you. There's nothing other than a response on following those instructions. If they are at your house or they're giving that order, even though it's during the hurricane, they've decided that it is safe, but now is the time to do it. You would follow that guidance. Otherwise, if you're sheltering in place during high winds, or you just need to shelter, you can go to a FEMA safe room or an ICC 500 storm shelter. If you're at home, it's best to go to a small interior room that has no windows. Hallways or an interior room on the lowest level that is not expected to flood. So you would not go down into a basement that would easily flood, but the lowest level where you were expecting to stay dry, away from windows, is going to be your safest place. In the event flooding does occur, you get stuck in your house because of flooding, then go to the highest level of the building, but do not climb into a closed attic. In that case, the water could rise and you can be trapped into the attic and have no way out. So again, that's if your attic does not have any other way out on the top, you would not go into a closed attic. You would continue going on the levels that still have a window or a way out of the building. Continue to watch for emergency information and instructions throughout the hurricane. You would only use generators or any gas-powered machines outside and away from your windows because you do not want those toxic fumes to come into the house. This is very important. You do not walk, swim, or drive through any floodwaters. Only 6 inches of water, fast-moving water, is needed to actually knock you down. So that can take your legs out, knock you down, and carry you away. 1 foot of fast-moving water is enough water to pick up your car and take it down the street. So your car can be fully carried away in just 1 foot of fast-moving water. It doesn't look like much, and it's deceiving, and that's why we would never even drive through floodwaters. Additionally, you never want to cross a bridge that goes over fast-moving water. There is danger in the items that the water is carrying, but also the water may be damaging the structures that support that bridge, so it is not safe. After a hurricane, follow instructions from the authorities. Be careful during your cleanup. Wear protective clothing and use the buddy system. Work with a partner. You should be in eyesight of each other, so in the event something were to happen, you have somebody to help you out or to go get help. There's often several dangers that are not seen or surprising in the cleanup. If there is any electrical equipment that got wet or is in standing water, do not touch it. If you can safely do so, then you should actually turn the electricity off at the main breaker. And then, only if safe, you can inspect any electrical equipment that has been disconnected fully and make sure that it is not, again, in standing water. Avoid waiting in the floodwaters. Downed power lines, so power poles that broke and the electrical lines that are still carrying electrical current, can actually charge the water, which means you don't have to touch the electrical line. If it is in the water and you touch that water, the electrical current can go through the water and electrocute you. Additionally, floodwaters contain a lot of dangerous debris that can hide in the floodwater, so avoid standing in floodwaters whenever possible. Save phone calls for emergencies. Save the battery on your phone at this time. Document any property damage with photographs and then contact your insurance. Welcome to ASL Services Hurricane Preparedness Guide 2020. This is part 3 of 5, and in this presentation we will provide you with multiple checklists to go over line by line things that you should have or things you should think about to make sure you're ready for this hurricane season. Additionally, these checklists can be found within the full pamphlet. The ASL Services printed guide has these printed out, so you can print that out and then do this for your house. The first checklist you're going to do is a family emergency plan. Let's go over that. One, it's important to make sure that you have actually written your family emergency plan down and that everybody in the family has reviewed it, so everybody is on the same page. It's important to set up a family contact with a family member or close friend who lives out of state. You want somebody who anybody can reach out to just in case there are local communication challenges. And if your family gets separated, you should have this designated contact to be your primary point of contact, your POC. Additionally, it's a good idea to have a predetermined meeting location at least 50 miles inland. In the event the family gets separated, you can reunite at this designated place. Create a contact list with neighbors, close friends, family members. So this is an emergency contact list of people to check in with and reach out to in the event of emergency. Take pictures of your house and all of the contents within your house or apartment, and document what date it was taken for insurance purposes. Create a to-go bag. The to-go bag should contain all important documents and identifications. So if the emergency arises, you don't have to look for all of these things. You have one place to just grab and know you have everything you need for important documents and ID. Let's go over what a to-go bag is. A to-go bag is an essential piece, a one-stop shop. You would put all critical documents, identifications, and medications in this bag. So if an emergency were to arise, you have one thing to pick up and have peace of mind you have everything you need. Any items that could get damaged with water, go ahead and put in a Ziploc bag or some waterproof container. In your to-go bag, put your blood type or no blood card. Put medical insurance cards or a copy of that, and medical doctor information. List of medical prescriptions and who takes those prescriptions. The names of the medical prescription, the medicine, the doses. It's important to have cash, because at times if power outages happen, then credit cards may not work very well. So having cash on hand is definitely a good idea. Have some credit cards, because ATMs may be depleted, where you can go to the ATM and there's no cash available. So just having a credit card as a backup. Personal checkbook is a good idea. Any unpaid bills. Pens and paper. Insurance papers for home rent. So rent insurance, health insurance, all of those. Passport, birth certificate, a copy of your driver's license, social security card, proof of residence, so a deed, a lease, a mortgage, a utility bill, copy of a living will, power of attorney, deeds, copies of recent tax returns. Any stocks, photos and pictures for sentimental items, and hard copy or printed maps. While getting prepared, it's important to take the step to go over your insurance and make sure you have the appropriate insurance set up. Check your home and car insurance policies. Check what the coverages are for potential damages that could happen. Make sure you are up to date for your house if there are any changes that you are in need of for potential damage from wind debris or flood. Just make sure you're covered. Any work or upgrades done to the home? Did the value of your home change? If so, it's important to update your insurance policy. Make sure you have coverage for what you need and where you're at. Do you have any additional expenses if the house is not inhabitable due to a covered loss? So if the storm damages your house and you cannot live there, does your insurance policy help cover the expenses of where you're going to live while your house is repaired? These are conversations to have now. Do you have flood insurance? Typically, this is a separate policy from homeowners insurance. There is typically also a 30-day waiting period, so you cannot buy this last minute. This is why preparation is important. So don't wait until there's a hurricane warning. Again, 30-day waiting period, meaning when you buy it, the policy will start on day 31. So flooding is the leading cause of damage from tropical storms. So that's something worth taking note of in hurricane season, and given our area, for many people, this is a worthwhile consideration. It's important to know, do you have a sinkhole coverage in your policy? Because the storms, all the water movement, sinkholes can develop, and not all policies cover that. Look into your area, determine your risk, your concerns, and look into your policy. Know what is covered and what's not. Additionally, do you have comprehensive car coverage policy? A collision-only policy will not cover any damage to your car from, say, a falling tree, because that is not a collision. It's not a car collision. If that's a concern of yours, have a discussion with your insurance agent. Early on, you should do an inventory of your home. A quick, simple way would be to do a video. You can walk around the whole house and narrate, talk about this, call out the items. This TV was purchased this year or is valued at this much. What's the brand name? So you can identify each item just walking through right on the video. Take pictures of your home and the contents, and then take notes with all of that. Again, you want to have a date and, if possible, type of timestamp for all of the items, proving what was in your house. Include the make and model numbers of specific items and mention that in the video, or if you take pictures, write that all down. Check your insurance. Some insurances may require that you actually register your video or your pictures prior to the hurricane, so that you can document they want to have it on file, or maybe they want it in a specific program that they use to catalog inventory of the home. Remember to inventory contents of closets, drawers, cabinets. You don't want to forget these areas we can easily walk by. Make sure you have everything in your house documented. You should store your videos and pictures and the inventory lists in a safe place. Additionally, you should have a backup of the video, pictures, and inventory in a completely different location. If possible, you can even email yourself a copy of all of this so there is a digital version. Keep all receipts, especially for big expensive items. Some items might even require a separate insurance policy. Keep track of model numbers and where you purchased them. The outside of your home. Cut and remove and get rid of any dead limbs, dead trees, any old bushes. Check your generator. Make sure it's maintenanced and in good working order. Check your inverter, your car power charger. Should be noted that this uses minimal fuel from your car and can run the refrigerator, lights, etc. Install anchors and pre-drill holes for the plywood to go up if you have to board up your windows that way. Obtain 3/4 inch width outdoor plywood for each window. Install head and foot bolts for extra protection to cover windows. Purchase tarp for your roof. You will need a hammer and nails to anchor the tarp down to protect your shingles and the top base. It's important before you need it, check your local area to find out what shelters are near you. Keep in mind that year over year, some shelters may have changed locations, and some shelters may not even open this season. It's important to know where different locations are that have special services. Some shelters have additional services to support people with disabilities, and not all shelters are pet friendly. So it's important to know where the shelters are that match your needs. In case you're ordered to evacuate, you should learn what are your evacuation routes. And if you're traveling on roads that you're not familiar with, or is there road construction, what are there detours, check your routes. If you're planning on a certain evacuation, look ahead. Just make sure that it will be clear and available to you when you need it. Additionally, if you need a ride, if you're not going to be able to take yourself, reach out to somebody so that you have a prearranged ride in place either to the shelter or for evacuation. Getting yourself prepared. Hurricane supplies. Begin stocking up prior to hurricane season. Buy a few items every week. This way you don't have to hit it in one large bill, get a couple things, and just build your cash that way. Food packs, 2 weeks supply for every family member and every pet in the house. 3 days for travel. So 2 weeks supply for everybody, pets and family members for staying in the house. 3 days supply for travel. Make sure you have enough water, snacks, utensils for eating, a manual can opener, so non-electric, water purifier, toilet paper, paper towel, sanitizer, bleach. Personal items, toothbrush, toothpaste, jewelry, extra glasses, contacts, case, solution, a heart defibrillator, asthma machine, refill, female sanitation napkins, and personal and any sentimental religious items. Make sure you have all of the elements in your kit. A first aid kit will have alcohol wipes, bug bite, allergy pens if needed, AM/FM radio for a weather alert, preferably a hand crank, cell phone, car charger, backup batteries, flashlights, batteries, extension cords, extra keys to the car and the house, jumper cables, mosquito repellent, mosquito nets, waders, raft, blanket, pillow, sleeping bag, one for every family member. Permanent markers so you can label items, small battery operated fans, small travel pocket tool set, 2 coolers, one for food, one for ice, trash bags, and you can also purchase quick dams. These function like sandbags, but they store flat. So they're very easy to store, and you can get them as long as a garage door. If needed, then you go ahead and just lay them out, and they stay flat and dry until water hits them. Then they puff up and act like a sandbag to prevent flooding. Getting yourself prepared. Make sure you've got clothing packed, extra socks, because you want to keep your feet dry. Comfortable clothing, pants, tops, shirts, solid shoes. So sneakers and hiking boots are good ideas. And have some rain gear packed. Rain boots, rain jacket, and the like. Some specific items you should have for the children or elderly members in your party. Diapers, baby formula, sturdy shoes, as well as some activities. So playing cards, toys, coloring books, and some quiet games. For your pets, make sure that you have food for the pets. Important to bring food bowls and water bowls. Pet medications, proper dosage, and so make sure it's labeled with the dosage and vet name, number, and location for the vet. and plan if you're going to a hotel or the shelter. Some don't allow pets, so just plan ahead and just know. Welcome to part 4 of 5 of ASL Services Hurricane Preparedness Guide for 2020. In this section, we're going to talk about what you need to do during a hurricane watch and hurricane warning, and what steps you should take. So during a hurricane watch, be prepared to ride out the storm, and if you're ordered to, be ready to evacuate. It's important to have all of your to-go bag items ready and packed. The to-go bag should be accessible in one location, so it is very quick and easy for you to grab and go. Make sure your medicines are refilled. Get early refills when possible. Your packed bags need to have a minimum of 1 week's worth. If it's possible to pack with more than that, great. Make sure, of course, your medicines are labeled with the name of the medicine, and so the name, the dose, and pharmacy that you typically get it from. It's important to refill your cars right away. The goal is to keep a full tank at all times. So when you've moved from a hurricane watch to a hurricane warning, this is where you're making the determination to either ride it out and stay where you're at, or stay in a local shelter, or evacuate. If those are the orders regionally, you can evacuate even without an order, but especially if there is a regional order, then go ahead and evacuate. Be prepared for either outcome. Checklist to go through these items. Your generators, make sure that it's in good working condition. You have extension cords. You have enough oil and gas. Fill anything that you can with water. During the hurricane warning in this day and a half, these 36 hours, it's including, that can include the bathtub. Stop that up. It's potable, drinkable water, and a good large amount that you can store. Garbage cans that are cleaned out, even you can use a garbage can if it's not cleaned out. This will help you flush the toilet. You can manually do it by the water pressure. Freeze bottles of water for ice. Get ice and store it in a freezer or a cooler. Your grill, make sure you have charcoal, matches, lighter fluid. Unplug any electrical items. If they don't need to be plugged in, you don't need to do additional drains. It will reduce your opportunities for shorting or any sparks to happen. Bring all outside items in: lawn chairs, planters, decorations. Again, we want to avoid any of that flying debris. Trash cans, hanging plants, anything that the wind can pick up. You want to bring it all in. Secure and anchor items that cannot be brought inside. Towels can be used to stuff under the door and divert water from coming inside. Quick dams also can be used to help avoid any water intrusion. Lift items in home as high as possible off the ground, especially anything that you're concerned about getting wet if it would be damaged. If you did not board up your windows, a backup is you can use a mattress and place that in front of the window to protect from any of the glass getting blown inside to the people in the room. Remove any items like lamps or other objects, get them off tables, and you can store them in a closet or some interior room. If there becomes an order or a warning for a tornado, some additional things to think about is it's important to move to a safe area of your home immediately. tornadoes happen very quickly, very short warning. Safe area is usually a basement or the most interior room that has no windows. Use pots to function as a helmet to protect your head. Do not move into the top floors. These do not protect you. With tornadoes, damage to the roof can lift up and you would be exposed. If you do not have a basement, you want an interior room. No windows. Exterior rooms do not protect you. Again, the broken glass will allow the wind and all items that it can carry in, which causes a danger. No outside place is safe for a tornado. Welcome to part 5 of 5 of ASL Services Hurricane Preparedness Guide. In this guide, we're going to go over several resources. Knowing that this is a video and you cannot click on any of these links, I want to let you know that all of these links are available in the full pamphlet, the packet, ASL Services Prepared for the Hurricane Preparedness Guide. That link will be posted in the comments of this video, and if you open up that packet, all links are available to all resources. An important thing to do is to find your local shelters. Visit Red Cross, and on their website, this is the full link at Red Cross, Get Help. Simply put, if you go to Red Cross's website, you can type in find shelter, and it should get you to this link, or look at Red Cross Hurricane Preparedness, and it will get you to this mentioned link. Or again, it's in the packet. If you can't download that and you need to find a shelter, on your cell phone, you can text shelter, all capitals, SHELTER, plus your zip code. So shelter and your zip code. And the phone number to send that to is 43352. That is for FEMA. 43352. I know it's only 5 digits, but that's the phone number you text. And you text the word shelter plus your zip code. They will respond to the nearest shelter in your area. If you want to monitor severe weather warnings on your phone for emergencies, you can text Get Emergency, no spaces. The phone number is 90999. So for emergency alerts, type Get Emergencies. For tornado alerts, same phone number, you can type Get NATO. 90 and the phone number is 90999. For hurricanes, text Get Cane to 90999. For flood alerts, text Get Flood to 90999. Some links for national hurricane resources for weather predictions and information for preparation as well as weather updates. FEMA has a very good YouTube video for some important things to know before a disaster. NOAA, their website, which is www.noaa.gov. Ready.gov /hurricane is a very good website. And the American Red Cross Disaster and Financial Planning Guide. This link is wonderful for you to go through. It'll walk you through a whole step-by-step way to make sure you're financially prepared and all of the things you need to take into consideration. Information for where you live. Osceola County, here's the link for the Emergency Management Center. Orange County links, Seminole County, each of your regional ones. Puerto Rico Emergency Management Agency is listed here. American Red Cross, the Puerto Rico chapter, and then on state side, American Red Cross Registry, Safe and Well. You can actually, this is a website that is good to save and share with your family because it allows you to check in. It's a good tool. So go ahead and look at it while you have a minute. You can follow these websites or download these apps to get updated announcements and alerts. Make sure to sign up for all severe weather alerts, the text message or email alerts, some we discussed on the last page. And additionally, you can follow some of your local news stations. So NBC, Bay 9, Fox, CNN, Weather Underground, the Weather Channel, and NOAA. Thank you for your time. I hope this series was helpful to you. And if you know anybody that this series can help or you think would benefit from this information, please share either just the packet or this entire series of videos. Thank you for your time. Please stay informed and stay safe.